Christmas Eve at 3 a.m., a billionaire's heart shattered by a homeless woman's devastating secret. The clock struck 3, a haunting sound piercing the silence of the opulent penthouse. Outside, snow fell like soft whispers against the glass, but inside, chaos brewed. The metal edge of champagne flutes gleamed under crystal chandeliers, but the laughter from the party had faded. One man stood apart, wrapped in emotional frost: billionaire Grant Emerson. His heart, normally unyielding, trembled. He walked to the balcony, tracing the chill of the glass with cold fingers. From there, he spotted her, a figure huddled beneath the bridge, shivering in the biting wind. Funny how in a city filled with lights, she appeared like a shadow, a mystery veiled in the moonlight. Who was she? He slipped out, the door closing behind him with a final thud. Beneath the stars, his tailored suit was lost against the raw chill, contrasting sharply with the delicate beauty of the evening. He felt the grip of a strange unease, an unexpected pulse racing in his veins. As he approached, he could see the outline of her tangled hair, the way her thin frame huddled in desperation. "Hey!" he called, his voice echoing off the concrete. The woman looked up, eyes wide but dull, as if they had seen too much. Her skin gleamed pale against the night, an apparition of tragedy standing before him. "What are you doing out here? It's freezing." The tension hung thick in the air. She opened her mouth, but only a slight tremor escaped. From somewhere deep in her throat, a cautious story crawled forward, poised to shatter his world, except, he couldn't understand her garbled words. He saw the fear flicker in her gaze, tightening his chest. What dark secret was she hiding? Why was she here, alone on Christmas Eve? Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Just then, the woman drew a deep breath, her eyes flickering with something more than fear, a flicker of hope, of pain, hinting at a history so profound it was enough to topple empires. The weight of her past hung over them like a loaded gun. "I need to tell you something," she finally stammered, her voice quaking. He leaned closer, heart racing, desperate to catch her words. What could a homeless woman possibly know that could turn his world upside down? What secret lived within her that could ruin him? The air crackled with mystery, and all he could do was inch forward, ready to unravel the twisted fate that brought them together on this fateful night. The words hung between them like icy daggers. I was once like you," she murmured, her voice a trembling whisper against the winter night. He blinked, confusion weaving through his thoughts. "What do you mean?" His heart hammered as he searched her face for clarity. Her vulnerability struck him bare and raw as the elements around them. "I had everything," she paused, her gaze drifting somewhere far away. "A nice home, a family. But then it all disappeared." A shiver ran through her, not from the cold but from memories she fought fiercely to reclaim. Grant felt his chest tighten. "What happened?" he pressed, the urgency shooting through his voice. 12 years ago, I watched the people I loved, I lost them all in one tragic moment." Her voice cracked, and he could see the shimmering of tears reflecting the moonlight in her eyes. "And I never found my way back." Desperation clawed within him, a primal urge to protect, to understand, to help pull her back from the edge of whatever had driven her to this life. "You don't have to be out here. Come with me. I can help you." She shook her head violently, as if his offer was a buzzing fly. "It's too late for me. I've lost my chance." Her voice started to rise, passion igniting and almost fire. "But you? You have everything. Don't let it slip away." He furrowed his brow, the anxiety of her warning pricking at him. "What are you talking about? What do I need to know?" Her eyes locked onto his, piercing and intense. "It's about your family too. There are things hidden, buried beneath layers of money and power. They aren't what they seem." Panic clawed at his insides. "What do you mean? Did she know something about his family? His legacy?" Silence stretched between them as he struggled to string together thoughts that raced in a chaotic frenzy. "People die for secrets like these, Grant. You need to be careful," she implored, her urgency mounting. "Your life, your world, it's built on lies." The atmosphere thickened, stifling, suffocating. His heart sank as her words rattled within him. What if she was right? What if his entire existence was a facade? But before he could voice his concerns, a loud crash echoed from the other side of the bridge. They both froze, instinctively pressing closer together, scanning the darkness. "What was that?" he asked, fear creeping into his tone. She flicked a glance back before sizing him up, determination flaring in her eyes. "They're coming. We need to go now. Trust me." Before he fully comprehended her words, she took his hand, pulling him into a run, the cold biting at their heels. "Wait!" he exclaimed, trying to catch his breath, confusion and adrenaline mingling. "What do you know?" But she kept running, dragging him into the hidden shadows of a deserted alley, the urgency in her movements relentless. "You don't understand. It's not just your past at stake anymore." Grant's mind whirled, questions racing ahead of them. What was chasing them? What had she hidden inside herself? The thrill of dread shot through him, knowing he was now entangled in whatever web she spun. And in that moment of bewildering fear, he felt a spark of something else, a chance to uncover truths, perhaps even a reason to save them both. But little did he know, this was only the beginning. Would he still want the truth once the shadows revealed themselves? The night wrapped around them like a thick fog, shadows stretching ominously as they dashed deeper into the alley's embrace. Grant could feel the icy wind slicing at his skin, but the real chill came from the weight of her words still hanging in the air. Lies, secrets, buried truths lurking just beneath the surface of his family's legacy. "Slow down. What are we running from?" he gasped, pulling back slightly as panic surged anew. Every breath felt labored. She barely slowed, glancing around, eyes darting like a hunted animal. "It's not just the people. They're after something, potentially you." "Me?" His head spun, disbelief mixing with the pounding rhythm of a heart racing out of control. "What do you mean they're after me? Who are they?" But she didn't answer right away. Instead, she led him out of the alley onto a narrow street, deserted except for the flickering streetlight at the end. It cast eerie shadows on the damp pavement, illuminating an unsettling scene. "Damn it, this way!" she snapped, pulling him toward a rusted metal door at the side of a crumbling building. "We need to get inside." She fumbled with the lock, her fingers trembling in the dark. He could feel tension crackling, thick as the storm brewing in the distance. Horns honked in the night, distant sirens echoed through the stillness, a stark contrast to the silent dangers they faced. The door creaked loudly, and their anxiety grew. She shoved it open, and they tumbled into the dim room, the scent of mildew clinging to the air. "What now?" he demanded, still trying to catch his breath, scanning the shadowy corners as if danger lurked in each one. "Listen," she pressed, her voice low but urgent. "We have to talk, but we need to be quiet. They could be watching." "Who?" he spat, frustration bubbling to the surface. It felt like every nerve in his body was on fire. "People who know about your family. People who talk." Her voice dropped to a whisper, eyes darting toward the door. "They know something is wrong. They're looking for what's hidden." "For what?" Grant pressed, edging closer to her. The adrenaline coursed through his veins like a wild river, twisting in uncontrollable currents. What are they after? But before she could spill the words, a loud bang echoed from the direction they had come. The sound was heavy and loaded with malice footsteps, heavy and fast. Grant's stomach dropped, cold dread pooling inside him as he grasped her shoulder. Are they here? He could barely manage the words, fear wrapping around him like a noose. No. She hissed, spinning to face him. Not yet. But soon. The tension in the air thickened, filling the dim room with an almost palpable weight. She took a deep breath, fear and urgency clawing at her as she held his gaze. You need to know who you really are, Grant. And who you can trust. It's more than you think. A sudden silence descended, the kind that crushes all hope and replaces it with dread. He could almost see the clock ticking down, the world outside fading as the reality of her words began to settle in. Tell me please. But as she opened her mouth, the door rattled violently, and their hearts stilled, a shared terror coursing between them. We're out of time. If they want you, they'll get you, she urged, eyes wide, fear written all over her face. No. He gasped, panic overtaking the moment. I can't. Just the door swung open violently, revealing a silhouette against the faint street light. A familiar figure stepped into the light, a smirk playing on their lips as the shadows loomed large. Surprise. Time to come home, Grant. Confusion and fear twisted in his gut. The words were a heavy weight. They threatened to shatter everything he thought he knew about himself as the unexpected figure took a step forward, a menacing presence in the doorway. What had just stepped into the room? Who was this person, and how did they know him? The air felt electric, charged with the unknown. And as reality trembled around him, Grant realized he was standing on the edge of a revelation that could unravel the very fabric of his life. Would he ever be able to return to the world he once knew? Or had he just crossed a point of no return? The figure advanced into the dim light, their smirk stretching unnaturally, sharp as a knife. Grant's heartbeat thundered in his ears, drowning out the chaos surging through his mind. Recognition flared for a moment, followed swiftly by disbelief. It was Todd, his estranged brother, the sibling who had vanished years ago. Grant. Todd's voice had a sing-song quality, unsettling and filled with malice. You didn't think you could run forever, did you? What? How? Grant stuttered, the lump in his throat growing heavier. The air felt thick with a mixture of dread and confusion. He struggled to comprehend the implications of his brother's return. Why are you here? Family reunion. Todd laughed, but the sound was hollow, containing no warmth. I've been waiting for this moment. You, me. The truth about what's ours to claim. The words hung in the air, charged with a dark promise. Grant's mind raced. What's ours? You stop. She suddenly interrupted, stepping forward, a barricade of defiance between Todd and Grant. You can't take him, Todd. I won't let you. Todd's smirk faded, replaced by a cold glare that sent chills prickling down Grant's spine. And who the hell are you to dictate what I can do? Someone who knows you plan to destroy everything our family built. Her voice trembled but held firm, a spark of bravery in the face of danger. This is bigger than you, Grant. Don't listen to him. Grant was torn, his eyes darting between them. The room buzzed with tension, like the calm before a storm. Could he trust her, or had he stumbled into something far darker than he had imagined? It's time you learned the truth, little brother, Todd continued, ignoring her entirely. Father left a legacy. Secrets worth a fortune. And they're buried deep. What secrets? Grant's voice wavered as he took a hesitant step back, closer to the wall, as if it could protect him. Todd shrugged, his confidence returning. The kind that gets people killed and family torn apart. But you wouldn't kill for it, would you? Grant's heart raced, battling the absurdity of the situation. You're not that guy. Oh, Grant, Todd said, shaking his head with mock pity. I've changed. I've had to, just to survive. You think I'd come back if it were just for you? No, this is about what belongs to me. What are you talking about? Grant felt sweat dripping down his back, anxiety washing over him. Shadows danced across the walls, seeming to reach for him, taunting him with their darkness. Enough! The woman shouted, stepping even closer, determination shining in her eyes. We have to go. Right now. Grant caught her gaze, searching for reassurance, but found only urgency. Where? He demanded, desperation creeping in. Where do we even go? Anywhere but here. He knows things about the family, things that could end you, Grant. Todd laughed again, a sound that sent shivers racing down Grant's spine. Why not just let me help? We can share the secrets. Turn our family's legacy into power. Power? You think this is a game? You have no idea what you're playing with. She shot a pleading look at Grant. Trust me. He's dangerous. Grant clutched her arm. The world outside faded, the weight of impending doom pressed hard against his chest. Should he confront the darkness, or flee with the only ally he had left? But before he could choose, Todd took a step forward, the shadows swallowing him whole, a promise of chaos lurking just beyond. Game on, Grant, he whispered, eyes glinting with malice. The air crackled, and a shiver of foreboding coursed through Grant. What fate awaited him as he stood on the brink of betrayal? What was hidden within the past, waiting to be unearthed? Would he discover the truth before it consumed him? Grant's breath quickened as the shadows seemed to retreat from Todd, revealing the gleam of his brother's wicked grin against the dim light. It felt suffocating, like the room itself was closing in. Fear gripped him, yet an ember of defiance flickered within. He tightened his hold on the woman's arm. Listen, he said, his voice steadying at last. What do you know about these secrets? He turned to the woman, searching for the courage to trust her. They're not just family legacies, Grant, she said, her eyes wide with urgency. They're also burdens, wrapped in lies and blood. Secrets that can destroy anyone, especially you. You think I'm afraid of him? Grant shot back, glancing at Todd, who appeared fascinated. The contempt in his brother's eyes was palpable, the predator relishing the tension. Afraid? No, Todd taunted, pacing like a caged animal. But you should be. These secrets have kept me alive. You don't know what's at stake. He leaned closer. Do you, big brother? Grant's mind raced, desperate to grab onto something solid amidst the chaos. He could feel that old bond of brotherhood trying to break through the anger, but the reality was different now. You're a monster, Todd. You don't care who you hurt, as long as you get what you want. The woman's grip on Grant's arm tightened. Run. Now. Their instincts kicked in as Todd lunged toward them, the shadows creeping back like dark fingers. Grant and the woman darted to the side, barely avoiding Todd's reach. The air crackled, sparking electric tension that sent adrenaline coursing through their veins. They stumbled through the narrow hallway, the dim light a flicker of hope guiding their way. We can't stay here, she gasped, her breath warm against his ear. We need to find a safe place to talk. Why should I trust you? Grant challenged, glancing back, half expecting Todd to break through the darkness at any moment. Because I know the truth about your father's legacy. The secrets, they were hidden for a reason. If Todd gets his hands on them, it's not just you he'll come for. She paused, her eyes deepening with intensity. It's everyone. Grant faltered, her words slicing through him with a terrifying clarity. What kind of legacy had his father left behind? He shook his head, angry and afraid. What did Dad do? Things no one talks about, things I can't say here, she replied urgently, pulling him through a side door. We need to go now. City Hall has the records, but Todd won't let us get them without a fight. The old building's exterior loomed ahead, its decrepit walls a reminder of the past, a past they couldn't ignore but couldn't fully uncover just yet. Grant turned briefly, the promise of Todd's sinister presence still clinging to the air. "Hey!" Todd's voice cut through the night air like razors. "You can't escape the truth, Grant. It's coming for you." They slipped into the shadows outside, desperately heading toward their only chance of uncovering what lay buried. Each footstep echoed a countdown, the very ground threatening to collapse beneath them. "Tell me what I need to know," Grant said fiercely, trying to keep his voice steady. "Just trust me," she replied, urgency spilling out in waves. "I'll explain everything once we're safe. Just keep running." As they sprinted into the darkness, the distant city lights blinked on like stars above an oasis of hope amid despair. Yet Grant couldn't shake off the darkness lurking behind him, a taunting reminder of the monster who claimed to be family, and in that moment, he realized, he wasn't just running from Todd. He was running from who they'd both become. "Please," he whispered to himself. "Let there be a way out." But was there truly a path to salvation when the truth might just slay them both? What other skeletons lurked in the shadows, waiting to leap out? Grant charged forward, adrenaline clawing at his insides. Each stride felt heavy with the weight of uncertainty, pounding into the cobblestones beneath him like a frantic heartbeat. He rushed alongside the woman, trying to absorb the frantic chaos swirling around them, the distant sounds of the city muffled in the dark, the faint hum of life continuing on, blissfully unaware of the nightmare creeping into their lives. "Why City Hall?" he gasped, words tumbling from his lips like the urgency of their escape. "What's there?" "Records, Grant. Everything." She shouted back, a fire igniting in her eyes. "Your father's dealings, the people he associated with the real legacy he left behind." His heart dropped. A legacy of darkness. He struggled to digest the implication, it felt surreal. Is that what's in those files? What Todd wants? That's why he's chasing us? Yes. A shiver of realization cut through the tension, and it felt like someone just poured cold water over his skin. The truth might very well be a weapon in Todd's hands. They took a sharp turn down an alley, the stench of garbage stinging Grant's nostrils. He didn't even wince. There was no time for that. He looked over his shoulder, half expecting Todd's figure to emerge from the inky abyss, but only shadows greeted him. "He's relentless," Grant muttered, the fear suddenly creeping back in with a vengeance, wrapping around his throat. "He won't stop." The woman glanced at him sharply, determination etched on her face. "Neither can we. You have to believe me, this is bigger than just you and Todd. It's about everything that came before us." Everything that came before. The words echoed in his mind, but it felt like an echo of dread. What if their family's history was a tapestry of nightmares? They reached the venerable steps of City Hall, its grand facade looming ominously, like a monolith holding the secrets of the past. The ornate doors stood slightly ajar, an invitation or perhaps a trap. Grant hesitated. What if Todd finds us here? He could already feel the bile of anxiety rising in his throat. Each shadow cast by the moonlight made him jump. "He won't," she breathed, her eyes scanning the surroundings. "Not if we move quickly." They crept inside, the old wooden floors creaking under their weight. The dark hallways felt alive, whispering stories of those who had walked before them. Reading room signs loomed out of the dim light, but Grant's focus sharpened. All around him were papers, folders, memories stained in dust, left behind waiting for someone brave enough to uncover them. His breathing hitched, every impulse screaming for him to turn around, to run back and escape this weighty legacy once and for all. "I want answers," he barked, frustration bursting through. "Tell me everything." The woman turned, hesitation flickering in her gaze. "Once you know, there's no turning back. You risk everything, your life, your future." "What future?" He spat, rage flickering back. "Todd will hunt me down. He'll kill for this." Maybe, she said softly, but that's not the worst part. You need to understand who he really is. Let me show you what's inside this building. The truth isn't just a weapon, it's a mirror reflecting everything we've chosen to ignore. Before he could respond, a soft sound echoed in the silence. Footsteps. They stopped cold. Todd. Grant's heart thudded against his ribcage. The woman's grip tightened on his arm. Quick. We need to find a place to hide. Panic rose like bile in his throat, blocking his voice. Without thinking, he pulled her toward a narrow storage room, the door barely closing behind them when the footsteps grew louder. Grant. I know you're in there. Todd shouted, his voice dripping with menace. There's nowhere left to run. What was left? The truth? A reckoning? But as the footsteps stopped and silence gripped them, they could only hope it was the darkness that would give them a moment's reprieve. Do you hear that? The woman whispered, her voice a fragile breath in the dark. What? Grant strained to listen. The air felt thick, frigid. Then, the unmistakable sound of pages. Rustling, someone was rifling through documents. His fear could give you strength, the woman said, her eyes meeting his. Or it could lead to his victory. And in that silent moment, Grant realized that either path could obliterate everything they knew. How do we end this? He managed through gritted teeth. But as they stood there, barely breathing, the chilling realization struck him: was there a way to stop the monster without becoming one themselves? They had to find the truth first. Would they even survive uncovering it? The rustling grew louder, ominously close, like a drumbeat echoing through Grant's thoughts. He held his breath, anxiety bubbling in his stomach. The sound of paper tearing made him flinch. Todd was rifling through the files they had come to uncover, the files that told the story of haunted legacies. Please, don't let him find us, he whispered urgently to the woman beside him. Her eyes narrowed, the fire still glowing within them but now flickering with apprehension. She shook her head, her determination unwavering. We're not here to hide. We're here to face this. Her voice was firm, but even she seemed to feel the encroaching darkness. In the cramped storage room, the shadows loomed larger around them. The scent of aged paper mixed with mildew, creating a pungent air that stung their senses. Grant pressed against the wall, desperate not to make a sound. Every second felt like an eternity, as if time was stretching itself thin in anticipation of what would happen next. Outside, Todd's voice carried a sinister edge, prowling through the building. You think you can play hide and seek with me? You have no idea what I'm capable of. His words chilled Grant to the bone. He was no longer just a former friend gone rogue, he was a predator on the hunt. The weight of Todd's ambition, that insatiable hunger for power, lingered in the air like a thick fog. Do you know what he wants? Grant asked in a hushed tone, searching the woman's face. She'd spoken of Todd as if he were a mere echo of what truly haunted them, but the fear in her eyes told him otherwise. He wants nothing less than control, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. He thinks he can rewrite our past with the truth locked inside those files. Blackmail. Manipulation. It's how he grew up. His whole life has been about survival by any means necessary. The thought sent a shiver down Grant's spine. The monster was not just hunting him, he was hunting his own history, ready to destroy everything to climb higher. Without warning, the door rattled, shaking on its hinges. Grant's heart raced, thundering in his chest like a warning bell. Found you. Todd barked, a manic glee creeping into his tone. The woman shot him a look that spoke volumes, a silent plea to match her resolve. Grant felt the fear crackle through him, urging him to act. Back. He hissed, and together they pressed against the wall, hearts pounding as Todd's shadow loomed under the door. We can't let him get in here. The woman clenched her fists. We have to find another way. Like what? The panic bubbled beneath Grant's skin, threatening to explode. If we get caught, we're dead. Then we fight. Her eyes blazed with ferocity, igniting a spark within him. He forced himself to breathe, to think past the panic. There had to be something they could do. Their eyes darted around, they needed a way out, a plan. As if reading his thoughts, she began to move toward a small window high up on the opposite wall. We can escape the way we came in. Todd threw himself against the door, the sound echoing like thunder. Move. Now. She urged, scrambling onto a nearby crate, reaching for the latch. Panic morphed into determination as Grant helped her, adrenaline sharpening his focus. They needed to act fast, or Todd would obliterate any chance they had of uncovering the truth. With a sharp click, the window opened just enough for them to squeeze through. Grant glanced back, dread swallowing him whole. If Todd caught them, it was not just their lives at stake, it was the legacy they had come to face. As the cold night air rushed in, he clambered through, heart racing. Just as he landed outside, he heard Todd's voice behind him, towering with fury. You can't run from me. They stumbled away from the building, dark figures racing off into the night, shadows blending in with the chaos of the city. But even as they fled, the question echoed in Grant's mind: would the truth they sought save them, or would it lock them into a fate far worse than they could imagine? In the distance, sirens wailed. The final escape had just begun. And once they found the answers, would they be ready for the terrible price they might have to pay? The ground felt icy beneath Grant's feet, the night air was sharp. Adrenaline surged, pushing his muscles into action as they sprinted down the alleyway, weaving through shadows and debris. Each breath was a gulp of desperation, his heart hammered, echoing a primal fear that this was far from over. Todd's words replayed in his mind, his manic laughter chased them like a ghost, the woman beside him, breathless but resolute, caught up just enough to lock eyes with him. We need to find shelter. He'll hunt us in the open. Grant nodded, tightening his grip on her arm as they turned a corner. In the dim light of a flickering street lamp, he spotted an abandoned warehouse ahead. It loomed like a tombstone, a remnant of better days lost to time and neglect. There. He pointed, leading her towards it. Inside, dust motes danced in the air, illuminated by the sparse glow sneaking in through shattered windows. They ducked behind a stack of old crates, catching their breaths, but the relief was short-lived. The weight of the moment pressed against them. Todd was out there somewhere, his shadow looming over them like a predator waiting patiently for its prey. Do you think he knows we're in here? Grant whispered, feeling the edges of panic creeping back. No. Not yet. Her voice was steady, anchoring him even as doubt gnawed at his insides. But we'll have to move quickly. We can't just sit and wait. Grant swallowed hard, glancing around the dimly lit interior. What's the plan, then? He was desperate for a strategy that didn't end with them being cornered. Those files, she began, tapping her temple. We have to find them before he does. They're the key. If we can expose Todd, maybe we can survive this. Panic fluttered in his chest. But what if Todd gets to them first? What if the sound of footsteps echoed outside, a rhythmic thud on the concrete that sent icy fingers creeping up Grant's spine? They shared a swift, panicked glance, then she nodded, resolute. We need to move. Now. Quietly, they crept through the warehouse, scanning for any signs of the files they had come for. As they turned a corner, dark shapes caught Grant's eye, boxes piled high, filled with old documents. Their hopes flickered. Maybe the truth was buried somewhere in there. Help me. She pulled a box down, old papers spilling out like confetti, yellowed and brittle. They rummaged through, heartbeats hammering in tandem with the distant threat of Todd. Todd's not the only one looking for these, she murmured, her voice softening with the weight of their task. Who else? Grant asked sharply, trying to focus, but the pull of her words hung heavy. She took a breath, the truth hanging on the tip of her tongue. The organization Todd was involved with, they're ruthless. If they find us before we expose him, we might not just lose the files, we could lose our lives. A sound outside shifted. It was nearly impossible to tell if footsteps were approaching or retreating. The tension thickened, closing in around them, cocooning them in both fear and urgency. Just when Grant thought they might be able to breathe again, the door to the warehouse creaked open. Todd hadn't given up. "Looks like I wasn't wrong about you two hiding away. You can't escape what you've dug up." His voice dripped with malice. They froze, hearts pounding in their throats. "Grant," she breathed, grabbing his arm, eyes wide. "We need to make a choice. Now. Escape or confrontation." It loomed before them, and neither choice seemed perfect, but one could lead to discovery, or to their deaths. As Todd stepped deeper into the warehouse, claiming his territory, Grant found himself teetering on the edge of a decision that could change everything. The stakes had never been higher. Would they fight back or try to slip away once more? The clock was ticking. In that fleeting moment, the only thing that kept him anchored was the woman beside him, a thread of hope entwined in desperation. And yet, would they have the courage to face the truth, even if it meant exposing their darkest fears? The line had been drawn, and the battle for their lives had only just begun. The dust in the warehouse was thick and suffocating, swirling up with every frantic movement. Grant's mind raced. Should they confront Todd or try to find an escape route? The pressure was unbearable, each moment hanging heavy in the air. "Grant," she breathed again, urgency lacing her voice, "we can't let him have those files. It's our only chance." Before he could respond, Todd's silhouette loomed larger, his grin sharpening in the dim light, predatory. "Running away again? Such cowardice. You think the truth will save you? It's too late for that." The woman beside him, whose name still felt foreign on his tongue, clenched her fists. "We're not afraid of you, Todd," she shot back, surprising even herself with the fire in her tone, but Grant could see the tremor in her hands. He knew they were both terrified. "We can't fight him," he hissed. "We just need to stay quiet." Todd took a step closer, his hand brushing against the crates. The creaking wood echoed like the sound of cracking bones. "You think you're hidden away, but I know every inch of these shadows. Would you like me to show you what I do to those who oppose me?" His laughter was cruel, a sound that sliced through the tension like a knife. "Don't engage," his companion pleaded, fear pooling in her eyes. Grant took a quick glance around. There had to be something here, some way out. His gaze landed on a small side door tucked away behind a series of dilapidated pallets. It looked barely functional, but may just lead them out if they could slip past Todd unnoticed. "Look," he whispered, pointing subtly. "That door. We can sneak away." "Are you sure?" She blinked, uncertainty covering her like a shroud. Grant nodded. "It's our best shot." Todd's voice broke in like thunder. "What's the matter? Do you think you can escape so easily?" He laughed again, and the sound echoed harshly against the rusted metal of the warehouse. In a flash, Grant caught her arm, and they both dashed towards the door, every sound magnified in their ears. Each footstep felt like an alarm bell, leading Todd straight to them. "Stop!" Todd's voice reverberated behind them, intoxicatingly close. "You'll regret this. Go!" She shouted, her strength surprising him as she pushed him forward. Grant shoved the door, praying it would budge, and felt it crack against the rust. The handle turned with a creak, and they spilled out into the cold night air. Grant's heart raced faster than his legs could carry him. Behind them, Todd's footsteps followed heavy, relentless. They bolted down a narrow alleyway, the icy breeze stinging their faces. Darkness wrapped around them like a thick blanket, but with every breath ragged and filled with the taste of fear, hope flickered like a dying flame. "Wait," she gasped, catching her breath as they stopped. "What if he comes after us? We need to hide." Grant scanned the area, his mind racing. They were just two shadows in an unforgiving urban jungle. There. He pointed toward a stairwell leading to a fire escape on the side of an old building. The rusted steps groaned underfoot as they climbed, urgency propelling them higher. Once atop the fire escape, they crouched low and listened. The city buzzed around them, but their focus was solely on the alley below. Could Todd have found them already? Do you think he saw us? She whispered, trying to catch her breath. I don't know. Grant's voice trailed off as he focused on the darkness. Beneath them, the alley remained silent, waiting, but then, a figure strolled into view. Todd. He emerged from the shadows like a specter, his face locked in a malevolent smirk. Running doesn't suit you, my dear, he called out, his tone mocking. Sooner or later, you'll have to face the truth. There's nowhere left to hide. Panic surged in Grant's chest as Todd's gaze swept the alley, searching. He's close, she breathed. What do we do? As they crouched together, hiding both from Todd's malevolence and the weight of their own fear, time froze. The air felt electric with dread, and every second stretched out into infinity. The choice was upon them once again, and with it, the unshakable knowledge that whatever came next would shatter their world forever. In that moment of stillness, Grant realized that uncovering the truth might be the only way to save them. But would they have the courage to face what lay ahead? Could they trust each other enough to dive deeper into the impending darkness? As shadows wrapped around them, the unanswered questions loomed like an encroaching storm. In that stillness, a moment of clarity washed over Grant. His heart raced, but beneath the fear, a deep-seated resolve ignited. They needed to confront Todd. It was the only way to break the cycle of terror that had ensnared them. Hang on to me, he whispered, determination flooding his voice. The woman looked up at him, eyes wide with surprise. Trust was fragile, but something inside her sparked in response to his resolve. Grant's thoughts swirled. She was right. Todd's pursuit wasn't just about the legacy, the power. It was about them. The truth wasn't merely a hidden legacy, it was a path that could lead to their freedom or their end. Are you ready? He asked, squeezing her hand, the warmth grounding him in the dark. Let us do this, she replied, her voice steady, igniting a flame of courage between them. They took a breath, igniting their fading hope on a bold move. Grant crept toward the edge of the fire escape, his heart hammering against his ribs. They would confront Todd, but this time they would do it together. Descending the stairs as silently as the falling snow outside, they emerged onto the cold, empty street. The city felt eerily quiet, a stark contrast with the chaos that roiled within them. A sharp glance confirmed Todd was still lurking, pacing amidst shadow and light, lost in the dance of his own malevolent thoughts. Come out, he taunted, the air around him heavy with danger. The truth is waiting, Grant. You don't even know what's at stake. We know more than you think, Todd, Grant called out, stepping out into the pale light, positioning himself protectively in front of the woman. It ends now. Is that so? Todd's smirk widened, eyes glinting with malice. Do you really think you can take on the truth? You think you can keep it from me? I don't care what you think you know. Grant shouted, anger surging to the surface. You've hidden behind lies long enough. This legacy? It's more than just power. It's about freedom, and keeping it buried is tearing us apart. We're done letting you control everything. Oh, my dear brother, Todd crooned mockingly, you're so naive. You'll never escape what's yours. With a sudden burst of energy, Todd lunged, dark intentions seeping from him like the shadows trailing behind. Grant felt a rush of adrenaline, and in that split second, he understood he could either let Todd's darkness consume them or stand firmly against it. The woman stepped forward, linking her arm with Grant's, a fierce light igniting in her gaze. Together, she murmured, her voice a solid anchor in the brewing storm. Together, Grant echoed, feeling her strength beside him. Pathetic. Todd sneered, launching forward to take them both down. But before he could close the distance, the woman reached into her pocket, brandishing a small flash drive. You want the truth? Here it is. She hurled it toward Todd, the small object spinning through the air like a comet. His eyes widened in shock, desperation surfacing for the first time. What are you doing? Stopping you. Grant yelled, lunging to grab her hand as they made their escape toward the alley's mouth just as Todd snatched the flash drive from the air. Don't think this is over. Todd shouted, rage spilling from his lips. Outside, the sirens blared, their calls echoing as if the world was waking up to their chaos. Grant stole a glance back as they turned the corner, the confrontation lingering in the air. We need to get you safe, he urged her, adrenaline still coursing through him. Somewhere we can figure this out. She nodded, determination firm in her posture. The truth is our ally. We can take on Todd. Together, they navigated the maze of alleyways, the glow of the city life in contrast to the darkness that surrounded them. The truth of Grant's family legacy awaited him, a burden and a key that could unlock a future free of Todd's grip. Finally, they reached a small cafe tucked away from prying eyes, a sanctuary glowing warmly through the windows. Inside, they sank into the chairs, their breath steadying. Now, Grant started, the weight of what lay ahead pressing onto them. We need to understand this legacy we've unearthed. It's more than just about us, Grant. It's about confronting all the pain it caused. We will not let Todd control it anymore. As they leaned over the flash drive, hope began to burn anew. They would confront the truth, face the darkness together, and rewrite their legacy, no longer a tool for destruction but a story of survival. Outside, the winter wind howled, but inside, warmth cradled them. Together, they were fire and ice, ready to fight against the shadows, ready to reclaim their lives. The battle had just begun, but they were no longer afraid. They had each other, the truth, and a united strength not even Todd could extinguish. This was only the beginning of something far greater. Together, they would reclaim their destiny, and just like that, the curtain began to rise on their next act. That if you've loved this story, then you need to subscribe now so you don't miss what comes next. Smash that like button and show your support for all the incredible twists that are yet to come, and flood the comments section below with your reactions and theories. What do you think will happen next? Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends. They need to experience this conclusion too. Show your love for the channel, because we want you in this journey together.